intricacies.
So how many players are practicing, and how many do you expect to play tomorrow night?
We have 7 players in practice, and hoping to have those 7 and possibly one more available tomorrow.
You said all along, if I'm not mistaken, Barker, you would get x-rays to see her progress, so where is her progress?
It's moving in the right direction. You know, she's getting some mobility back and some strength back, so she's getting CT scans, and those are moving in the right direction. So we're happy and pleased with that.
What advantages could you see to playing the number one team in the country to start SEC play?
Tons, right? I mean, you want to know where you are, go play the best, and that's what we're going to have in front of us tomorrow night. They defend at a really high level. They're really good and spread you out. They've got, great talent. Obviously, she returns all of her starters except for one, and then made additions to her roster with some talented freshmen. And so we're going to get challenged defensively. So we're going to find out, how much better we've gotten on both ends of the ball. I think, when you enter conference play, period, there's just another level. And then you talk about entering conference play, and now you're playing against not only the best team in our conference, but the best team in the country. So there's just a different level. And you come to the SEC, you come to Texas A&M because you want to be a part of winning and creating great culture and winning championships. Well, we're going to find out what it looks like tomorrow.
A lot of these players have had so much success throughout their high school career and even in their collegiate career. How difficult is it to help them wade through this and the struggles when they might not have experienced that, if at all?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I think you're correct in saying they've had tons of success from a high school standpoint, but from their collegiate career, none of them have really played at this level for extended minutes. Patty at Ohio State, but even coming here, she hasn't played a ton of minutes. You look at this roster and who played against South Carolina last year, very few, and the ones that did, very, very limited minutes. So they don't know what they don't know. It's different being on a team that played against South Carolina or played in the SEC versus playing in the SEC and playing against South Carolina. So I think this is a great opportunity for them to see what it feels like, and why not do that against the best team in the country.
Well, what about how they're able to handle adversity and struggle as far as the wins and losses when they might not have had that before, even at the high school level?
Well, that's part of growth, and that's part of maturity, and that's why we talk about, how are we measuring our success and making sure that it's not always going to be in a win and loss column for us this year. So it's us focusing on the things that we're looking to improve on daily on both ends of the floor, and using those metrics to determine if we're getting better or not, because it may not show up in the win column, but that doesn't mean we're not getting better. We got better against Purdue. We didn't win that game. And so I think for us, it's making sure that they keep the main thing, and drown out the noise, which is what we always tell them.
What are you hoping to learn from the 7, not having your full team going against the number one team? What can you learn from just the 7, maybe 8?
Well, I think it's going to take an incredible amount of toughness, on both ends of the floor. It's going to be a physical game, so we're going to, get tested from a mental toughness standpoint and a physicality standpoint. We're going to find out who can repeatedly do things the right way. There's a lot of tweaks and things that are going to happen that have already happened to prepare for this game, and that are going to happen in game. So who can execute coming out of a timeout? Who can get a stop and changing defense coming out of a timeout and execute those things? And so again, it's those 7, those 8, hopefully, that are going to be available for us, making sure that they are dialed in and they stay together. South Carolina is a team that can go on a run, and how do we respond when that happens on their home floor?
When you're shorthanded inside, how do you handle Boston?
Oh, you just got to crowd her. You handle her the same way you would if you had a full roster. You don't play her one-on-one, You just got to crowd her and try to make it tough on her, and then box her out. The thing about South Carolina is they rebound 50% of their missed shots. And so it's their second, third, fourth, fifth shot that beats you, not their first one. That and stopping them in transition. So you got to try to slow them down, get them into a half-court game, which means for us we can't take quick shots. No surprises on offense. We can't turn it over. We got to be able to set our defense and force them into a half-court game, and then you got to box them out.
You think they're better than they were last year?
I think they could be. Are they better right now than they were last year? No. I mean, you lose Destiny Henderson, who's been a point guard for them for a really, really long time. I think they're trying to figure that piece of it out, but they're getting better every single time they play. So will they end up being better than they were last year? It's very, very possible. Are they right now? No.
Can you just speak to your relationship with Coach Staley? I know that she's a mentor of yours, having gone up against her in the past, and just the relationship that you guys have?
Yeah, I mean, we're friends. Like Dawn is family. Their whole staff is family, to be quite honest. You know, my husband worked with Dawn at Temple and at South Carolina, and worked with several people on that staff. They were at our wedding. We've taken trips together. So she's someone who is a friend. From a basketball standpoint, she's a mentor to all of us. She has really taken it upon herself to be an advocate for our game and for women in general. And so anytime anybody, not just me, needs anything and calls on Dawn, I'm not aware of a situation where she hasn't done her best to help or offer advice or get involved if that's what was, necessary. And so you look at someone who, as a player and as a coach, has done everything they could possibly do within their power to try to grow our game. So she's someone who we all look up to.
How do you rate that environment compared to the other SEC venues? Where do you put South Carolina?
It's a ton of fun. I would put it at the top for sure. When I was a player, Tennessee had it. South Carolina definitely has it now. Mississippi State had a really good environment when Vic was there. It'll be nice to see what that looks like when we go back. There's a ton of great environments in our league, but it's loud. The G Hive is a lot of fun to play in front of. But again, that's the atmosphere. That's the competitive nature that you want to have when you play. That's what we need to have at Reed.
Everybody good? Okay,
Thank
all.
you.